But my clock doesn't start at 10, it starts when the meeting's.
That's right. It starts when you're ready.
And good morning, everyone. This meeting is called to order. Mr. Drobin, has anyone signed up for public comment?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Good morning, all. No cases to reconsider under agenda item 3.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
No tax cases under agenda item 4. No fair housing cases under agenda item 5. No child labor cases under agenda item 6. Under agenda item 7, we have no wage claim cases on docket 17 pulled for additional discussion.
Yes, sir, no pulled cases for wage claim on docket 17, but you should have received the short form dissent list for docket 17.
I move to accept staff recommendations on the remaining wage claim cases on docket 17.
I second the motion, except for those cases which I am dissenting is reflected on wage claim short form dissent list for docket 17.
I concur with the chairman's motion, except for the cases on which I am dissenting is reflected on wage claim short form dissent list for docket 17.
Motion passes with the exceptions noted. Let's now move to agenda item 8, consideration of unemployment insurance cases, docket 17. Please proceed when you're ready.
Case number 3369854, Commissioner Trevino.
The AT decision is not supportable. The claimant was approved for PUA benefits in April of 2020 and stopped filing payment requests in June of 2021. The claimant then received a favorable appeal tribunal decision regarding the PUA eligibility determination on May 26th of 2022. And after that time, was not expecting any additional correspondence from the commission. Therefore, the claimant did not continue monitoring her TWC electronic inbox. The claimant was not aware of the determinations issued to her in June of 2022 because she was not in the claim status and was not expecting to receive documentation from the commission. Since the claimant received misinformation due to the commission's delay in sending these determinations, the claimant's appeal should be deemed timely. Reverse the AT, timely claimant appeal, remand.
The AT decision is supportable. The claimant has been found ineligible for PUA benefits beginning December 27th, 2020, due to not submitting proof of employment as per the new federal requirements for continuation of PUA eligibility into 2021. The ineligibility created an overpayment, and TWC determined she was ineligible for a waiver of the overpayment. The claimant's husband, acting on the claimant's behalf, filed a late appeal from all 3 determinations. There is no good cause exception to the appeal deadlines. Accordingly, we should affirm the AT decision. The claimant filed a late appeal. The claimant was ineligible for PUA beginning December 27th, 2020. Overpayment of $5,382, denied waiver of the overpayment.
Timely claimant appeal, remand.
We will remand the case.
Short
Case
form dissent.
number 34655.
Just a clarification, sir, do you have any dissent?
I shall form dissent on that.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Case number 3465096, Commissioner Trevino.
The claimant's CA appeal should be deemed timely. The initial AT decision dated 1/26 of 23 was void on its face. The corrected AT decision dated 2/10 of 23 was mailed to the claimant's correct address, but returned to the commission by the post office. Since the initial decision was void on its face, and the corrected decision, which was only sent via regular mail, was returned to the commission, the claimant obviously did not receive it and was not made aware of the appeal deadline. Timely CA appeal and resubmit for a summary of the merits.
We should dismiss the claimant's appeal to the commission as late. Claimant filed her CA appeal well after the deadline for a timely appeal. Since there's no good cause exceptions to the timeliness rules, we should dismiss the claimant's CA appeal as late and leave the underlying AT decision in full force and effect.
Deem claimant CA appeal timely, resubmit.
We will resubmit the case.
Case number 3514022, Commissioner Trevino.
The decision is not correct. The claimant was hired to work remotely. The employer advertised the position as a work from home job and hired the claimant to work from home, knowing that he lived 6 hours from their office. Due to some performance issues, the employer revoked the claimant's work from home status and gave the claimant less than 24 hours notice that he was required to report to the office the next day. This was completely unreasonable request, given the lack of notice and knowing that the claimant lived 6 hours away. Therefore, the claimant had good cause connected with the work to not comply with the employer's demand that he physically report to the office for work. Reverse the AT, no voluntary leaving, chargeback, void adequate response.
We should modify the AT decision. Claimant resigned when the employer revoked his work from home access due to lackluster performance and excessive attendance infractions. Furthermore, although the claimant alleged that the employer's revocation of his telework status was a material change to the hiring agreement, the employer's policy, which the claimant acknowledged, specified that the employer reserved the right to revoke telecommunicating privileges at any time. Since the claimant was aware of the employer's telework policy, his resignation was based on a reasonable employer request to attend work in person, did not provide him with good cause to quit. As such, we should modify the AT decision, voluntary leaving, no charge back, sever adequate employer response.
Voluntary leaving, no chargeback, sever adequate employer response.
Short form dissent.
Yes, sir.
Case number 3556282, Commissioner Esparza.
The appeal tribunal decision should be reversed. Claimant was fired for poor job performance. Employer stated that the claimant had received a final warning prior to the final incident. As to the incident itself, the claimant disclosed information to the customer despite being notified by the employer system not to do so. The employer provided a fact-finding statement which revealed that the notification message included the phrase, "Do not discuss with client." Plain meaning of those words is not complex. The claimant's failure to comply with the system's message was mismanagement of her position of employment, amounting to misconduct connected with the work. We should therefore reverse the AT decision of misconduct, no chargeback, adequate employer response.
The decision is correct. The employer discharged the claimant for performance issues. The claimant performed her job to the best of her ability, and she was unable to meet the employer's performance policy due to frequent changes in protocol implemented by the employer. Therefore, the claimant's inability to meet the employer's protocol should not be considered misconduct connected with the work. Affirm the AT, no misconduct, chargeback.
Misconduct, no chargeback, adequate employer response.
Short form dissent.
Yes, sir.
Case number 3573269, Commissioner Trevino.
The AT decision is not correct. The employer discharged the claimant for not following proper protocol following a chemical spill. The claimant denied under oath that he was aware of the spill, as he had already left work by the time the spill occurred. The employer only presented secondhand testimony to suggest that the claimant was at work when the spill happened, or that he violated the employer's policy in response to the spill. Therefore, the claimant's firsthand testimony should be given greater weight, and the employer has failed to establish that the claimant was discharged for misconduct connected with the work. Reverse the AT, no misconduct, chargeback.
The AT decision should be affirmed. The employer stated that the claimant was aware of the company's spill protocol and the procedures associated therewith. Nonetheless, the claimant failed to follow the protocol. Since the claimant failed to comply with reasonable employer policy, he mismanaged his position of employment, which amounted to work-connected misconduct. We should therefore affirm the AT decision, no misconduct, misconduct, no chargeback.
No misconduct, chargeback.
Short form dissent.
Yes, sir.
Case number 3574741, Commissioner Esparza.
The AT decision regarding good cause should be reversed. The employer testified that the date and time of the hearing appeared differently on its copy of the notice of the hearing. The employer also gave clear testimony that it was not confusing the hearing in question with any other appeal. As such, we should find that the employer had good cause for its non-appearance and resubmit. In the alternative, the Commission should grant a rehearing in this case. When asked by the hearing officer if the employer had any proof of a written discrepancy in the hearing packet, the employer at the time stated that it didn't. However, the employer had also testified that it could send its copy of the notice to show the difference in the date and time of the hearing. Accordingly, we should rehear the case to allow the employer to submit its copy of the hearing notice in question.
The AT decision is supportable. Regarding the good cause issue, the employer alleged that they received a hearing notice with a different date and time of the hearing, but had no evidence to support their testimony, and the copy of the hearing notice and evidence shows the correct hearing date and time. Regarding the job separation, the available record does not establish that the claimant knowingly engaged in actions that would be considered misconduct connected with the work. Affirm the AT. Employer did not have good cause for AT1. No misconduct, chargeback.
Rehear.
We will rehear the case.
Case number 3577964, Commissioner Trevino.
The AT decision should be reversed. The claimant's appeal was late because the post office mistakenly forwarded her mail to her daughter's address. The claimant's daughter gave her the mail a few weeks later, which is why the claimant's appeal was filed after the deadline. Therefore, we should deem the claimant's appeal timely due to her delay of receipt of the determination. As to the work separation, the claimant, a school bus driver, was placed on medical leave in September of 2022 after having a seizure. The claimant was unable to drive the school bus for at least 3 months following the seizure. The employer expected the claimant to return to work in February of 2023, but she experienced another seizure in January, so she could not return to bus driving at that time. The employer discharged the claimant when she did not return to work in February. Therefore, the claimant's work separation was a direct result of her medically verified condition and not due to any misconduct. Reverse the AT, timely claimant appeal, no misconduct, bill reimbursing employer.
We should modify the AT decision. First, I don't contest the timeliness finding. As to the job separation, the claimant failed to keep the employer informed of her status, to timely respond to multiple communication attempts from the employer, and to provide medical documentation as required. Accordingly, by not maintaining adequate communication with the employer and failing to return to work without substantiated medical documentation, the claimant quit without good cause connected with the work. We should modify the AT decision, timely claimant appeal, voluntary leaving, reimbursing employer not billed.
Timely claimant appeal, voluntary leaving, reimbursing employer not billed.
Short form dissent, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Case number 3586905, Commissioner Esparza.
We should reverse the AT decision. Claimant worked as a life skill educator to children with special needs. Claimant was suspended when the complaint revealed that she had used profane language to discipline children within her care. Upon suspension, the employer's governing agency conducted their investigation, which substantiated that the claimant was in violation of the agency's rule against harsh, demeaning, or unnecessary punishment. Since the claimant utilized inappropriate discipline in violation of the employer's policy and state standards, her conduct constituted misconduct connected with the work. As such, we should reverse the AT decision, misconduct, no chargeback, adequate employer response. The alternative, since the claimant's unpaid suspension was necessary for the safety of the children pending an investigation into the final incident, I can also agree that the claimant's separation was due to urgent, compelling, and necessary circumstances so as to make the work separation involuntary. As such, we should modify the AT decision, no misconduct, no chargeback, separation due to urgent, compelling, and necessary circumstances, adequate employer response.
The AT decision is supportable. The employer discharged the claimant after receiving an anonymous complaint that the claimant used inappropriate discipline measures. The claimant denied the allegation or the alleged behavior under oath, while the employer presented only secondhand evidence of the claimant's alleged actions. Therefore, the employer failed to provide sufficient evidence to establish that the claimant engaged in actions that would be considered misconduct connected with the work. Affirm the AT, no misconduct, chargeback.
Misconduct, no chargeback, adequate employer response.
Short form dissent.
Yes, sir.
Case number 3591672, Commissioner Trevino.
Read that number again.
Yeah.
Case number 3587424, Commissioner Esparza.
Thank you. The AT decision is fully supportable. Claimant was discharged after an altercation with a coworker during which the claimant used profanity, threatened violence, and insisted on escalating the situation when management intervened. The employer provided a firsthand witness and multiple witness statements to corroborate the claimant's wrongdoing. Since the claimant's action during the final incident were more egregious than those of her coworker, the claimant had received prior warnings, the employer met its burden of proving misconduct. We should affirm the AT decision, misconduct, void the chargeback ruling.
The AT decision is not correct. The claimant was discharged following an argument with the coworker. The coworker initiated the argument and was the first one to use profanity. The claimant responded to the coworker, but did not escalate the confrontation, yet the claimant was discharged while the coworker was not. Since the employer did not discharge the coworker who initiated the argument, the claimant was discharged for reasons other than misconduct connected with the work. Reverse the AT, no misconduct, void chargeback.
No misconduct, void chargeback.
Short form dissent.
yes, sir.
Case number 3591672, Commissioner Trevino.
The AT decision is not correct. The employer is a temporary help firm, and the complainant was informed that her assignment had ended. Though the claimant had not received a policy requiring her to report back for reassignment, she went to the employer's office the next business day and was told that there was no work available. The employer's testimony that the claimant failed to adhere to the employer's reporting policy, which would have required her to report to the employer's office at 6 a.m. that day, was not persuasive, and the claimant testified that she never received that policy, and the employer did not submit a copy of the policy. Additionally, the policy required employees to report for reassignment in person at 6 a.m. is unduly restrictive. Since the claimant's assignment ended and she was not offered additional work, the claimant was laid off due to lack of work. Reverse the AT, no misconduct, chargeback.
The AT decision is supportable. Because the claimant did not follow the employer's reporting policy, she is considered to have quit without good cause connected with the work. Accordingly, we should affirm the AT decision, voluntary leaving, no chargeback.
Voluntary leaving, no chargeback.
Short form dissent, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Case number 3595838, Commissioner Esparza.
We should grant a rehearing in this case. The claimant was discharged for failing to carry out the essential functions of her job when she refused to open the door to a student who needed to take daily medication. In its appeal to the commission, the employer is offering to present video evidence and witness statements. This evidence is relevant and should be considered before we render our decision. Accordingly, we should rehear the case for submission and review of this evidence and for evidence of the employer's firsthand witness.
The AT decision is correct. The employer terminated the claimant based on allegations that she failed to provide proper care to a student who needed medical attention. The claimant denied under oath the employer's allegations that she neglected her job duties. The employer failed to provide any firsthand testimony or direct evidence to support their allegations. Therefore, the employer has failed to meet its burden of proof in establishing that the claimant was terminated for misconduct connected with the work. Affirm the AT, no misconduct, bill reimbursing employer.
Misconduct, reimbursing employer not billed, adequate employer response.
Give me 1 second, please. I'd like to support the chairman's vote on this and submit that.
Yes, sir.
Short form dissent, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Case number 3635120, Commissioner Trevino.
The AT decision should be modified. The claimant left the job because her new position was severely impacting on her mental health. Prior to quitting, the claimant had been diagnosed with several conditions, and her therapist provided a statement to establish that the job was having a major impact on her life and health. Section 207.045 specifically states that no individual may be disqualified if the individual left work because of a medically verified illness. Therefore, the claimant established that her leaving the job was directly related to her medically verified conditions. Modify the AT, no voluntary leaving, bill reimbursing employer, void adequate response, sever the ability issue.
We should modify the AT decision. First, I don't dispute the ability, first, I do not dispute the ability finding. Concerning the job separation, the claimant did not provide the employer documentation of her medical condition or restrictions, did not request any medical accommodations, and did not request FMLA leave. Since the claimant failed to take steps to protect her job, she quit without good cause connected with the work. Accordingly, we should modify the AT decision. Voluntary leaving, reimbursing employer not billed, sever the adequate response issue. Ability, the claimant is eligible.
Voluntary leaving, reimbursing employer not billed, claimant able to work, sever adequate response rule.
Short form dissent, ma'am.
Yes, sir. That was the last case pulled for additional discussion on docket 17, and you should have received the short form dissent list for docket 17.
I'm going to accept staff recommendation on the remaining UI cases on docket 17.
I second the motion except for those cases in which I am dissenting as reflected on UI short form dissent list for docket 17.
I concur with the chairman's motion, except for the cases on which I am dissenting as reflected in the UI short form dissent list for docket 17.
Motion passes with the exceptions noted. If there's nothing else to come before the commission, is there a motion to adjourn?
Chairman, I move to adjourn the meeting.
I second.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn, and we're adjourned.